folks, welcome back to Zatsudan, the show that recaps Time Warp for you, because you were too busy watching my charity marathon with Mia Gomez. We're kicking things off tonight with No Boys Allowed action, Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus, two of the bigger stars of the division. Some friction between the two of them lately. Trish has been kind of on a campaign against the indie wrestlers, and Becky got tired of it. Tells her as much as they come in before the bell. Heated match here. It's more of a brawl to begin with. Brawl back and forth. Becky Lynch comes out on top, smacks her around for a little bit, but Trish comes roaring back, clothesline off the ropes, slingshot. Trish gets some spots in, goes for the Stratus action. Becky catches it, reverses it into a backbreaker. 1, 2, 3. Big win for Becky Lynch. Both of them stop by the commentary booth afterwards, have a few words with our commentary team. They would like a little bit more respect for the NBA division. I'm kind of on their side for that one. The Lucha Bros taking on Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods of New Day. Becky coming down with them, and a good thing too. Lucha Bros try to jump New Day on the entry ramp, but Becky interposes himself, puts a stop to that right quick. Pretty solid match here, back and forth. My favorite spot there was Kofi knocked Penta down, Penta rolled onto the apron. Xavier Woods got his trombone out and played it right in his ear. No contact was made, so I guess it's technically not a foreign object. I don't know. It's kind of stretching it, but we're a little lax on weapon use outside of the ring anyway, so yeah, we'll let it slide. It was fun, so I'll let it slide. Pretty back and forth match. New Day really with some impressively fluid tag work in this one, tagging in and out, cutting off the ring. Penta got stuck in the wrong part of town for an extended period. Never did quite make it over to Phoenix. Woods is able to put him away. Big win for New Day. Lucha Bros were the favorites to win the tag team titles, and they're kind of slipping a little bit lately. New Day with a big win on their way up in the world, I feel like. All three of them celebrate in the ring. We'll be coming back to them in a second. But before that, we had cut backstage. Larry Sweeney was having an unhappy time, shall we say. He was a little bit upset that he got banged up by Slash Gallagher in his last match, but didn't do anything particularly wrong. These things just sort of happen. You fight somebody, sometimes you get hurt. Slash wasn't trying to cause him an injury. Slash didn't particularly screw any moves up. It's just a rough day for Larry Sweeney. Sweeney wants a little bit of love, so give him a little bit of, I don't know if it constitutes love, but as close as you can get in ASW, I guess. I send him out there to face Big E, who's still in the ring, hanging out with the New Day. Sweeney didn't like that solution very much, but that's the best I can do for him. Actually, a pretty good match. Sweeney has not impressed in ASW so far, for being real, but he does get some moves in here. Got some moves in against Slash too, I guess, before he got spiked a little bit. Goes back and forth for a good little bit. Big E does eventually get the upper hand. Sweeney even busts out the old Ric Flair bit where he kneels down and asks for mercy and then goes for the cheap shot low blow. Big E a little bit too smart for that. Catches it. No low blow for you. Sweeney powers to the outside. Gets in a bit of an argument with Kofi and Xavier. That leaves Big E a big opening. Sweeney gets back in the ring. Gets blindsided by Big E. Big E puts him away pretty quickly after that. Big win for Big E. Good night for New Day. 2 wins, the tag win being a pretty big one. They're having a good time. They party in the ring a little bit more. We have 2 non-title matches coming tonight. First one is Kairi Hojo, NBA champion, going against Asuka one more time. Kairi's still a little bit feeling the effects from some of her run-ins with Willow Nightingale. She got out of that with the belt intact, but her body is not quite as intact as it could be. For the match, Trish Stratus comes down. Kairi Hojo's had some interactions with Becky Lynch. Becky's motivation's kind of enigmatic lately, but they seem to be on mostly the same page. Trish Stratus does not like that. Trish makes claims that Becky Lynch is a snake who's just using Kairi and Bandit and Willow and the entire rest of the NBA division to get what she wants. She could be right, I don't know, it's kind of mean, but one never quite knows what Becky's up to. At any rate, Kairi kind of blows her off, gets to the matter at hand. Back and forth match. Trish stays on the outside, just kind of annoying everybody. And off of one of those distractions, Asuka goes for the green mist, actually hits it this time. Unfortunately, Asuka is also distracted by Trish, and loses a bit of the advantage that gained. Still, rough night for Kairi. She's still got some nagging injuries, she got misted, distractions at ringside, deck pretty stacked against our champion. But that is where Kairi Hojo thrives, with her back against the wall. Insurmountable odds, one of those types, you know, the eternal underdog type. And she powered it out this time. She took everything Asuka had, she gave it right back. Big win, Kairi Hojo overcoming the odds, one might say, but I don't want to jinx it. Asuka visibly frustrated. She's yet to win a match in ASW. I considered her one of the headline talents going into this project, but she's been struggling. She hasn't been taking it seriously to date, but I think it's starting to get to her a little bit. She's getting a little cranky about it. She is still cranky by the time she makes it to the backstage, and Guerrero comes up to her. He has a suggestion that they team up for Super Survivor Series. Asuka, Chavo, and presumably Eddie, all going to be on one team. That is going to be a wild team. Not entirely established who they're fighting yet, but kind of process of elimination that out a little bit. Kevin Nash on his way to the ring for a big match. He is in a absolutely foul mood after Genesis. Can't really blame him, honestly. He's not the nicest guy around, but it was rough. He went into the event as #1 contender, and he didn't even get his title shot. He and Scott Hall had a little bit of a plan to warm up on HBK, backfired on him, and Kevin Nash lost his #1 contendership without even being involved in the match. Probably some bad blood between him and Scott Hall. He's pretty frustrated, he's pretty upset, he's lost a lot of steam lately. However, tonight, Kevin Nash gets his shot at redemption, one-on-one singles action against Shawn Michaels. Get a little payback, maybe. Doesn't seem to be working him up too much. He seems just kind of bummed out about the whole thing. He's not quite as fired up as usual. HBK, of course, immediately picks up on that, being a bit of a psychologist. Starts messing with him a little bit. Nash gives him a big chop to the chest, and HBK does one of his famous oversell jobs. He sells it all the way to the outside, flipping and flopping, and spilling and tumbling. He grabs the mic, he razzes Nash a little bit, accuses Nash of being the one to lose his smile, picks on Hall a little bit, just pushing all the buttons. That gets Nash a little bit upset. Now he's angry. Now we have a fight, now we have a match. Pretty classic match here. These two know each other well, and you've got the David and Goliath power and speed matchup. Nash ragdolling HBK around the ring, HBK running circles around Nash. It's a good time. Late in the match, Kevin Nash catches a sweet chin music attempt, throws HBK into the corner. HBK bounces back off, hits the sweet chin music, that time on the rebound. But that took a lot out of them. Both men are down. HBK can't quite make it over to make the cover. Match continues. Both men get back up. Nash gets HBK in a giant bear hug. HBK just spits at him. Right in the eye. It got him to let go, but it's getting a little personal out there. Match goes on. Scott Hall down at ringside, as he often is for Kevin Nash. He hops in the ring. HBK sees him coming though. Whips him into Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash shoves him out of the way, but that distracts him for 2 seconds. That's all HBK needs. He hits the sweet chin music. 1, 2, 3. HBK has stolen another one. It is once again kinda Scott Hall's fault, a little bit. Nash is realizing that and having some words with his partner. Gets into a shouting match, devolves a little bit, gets into a fight. Nash slaps Hall, hits him around a little bit. Giant jackknife powerbomb on his own tag team partner. Y'all, I think the Outsiders might be done. Good friends, but doesn't look like it anymore. That's going to have some ramifications on our tag division, and that's going to have ramifications on Super Survivor Series. More on that later. A rough patch for Kevin Nash continuing. Will ejecting Scott Hall improve that? Possibly, I don't know. We'll see. Randy Savage backstage in a pre-taped promo. He is facing Eddie Guerrero in non-title action in our main event. After having disposed of Chavo fairly recently, Eddie wanted a shot. So here we are. He's got to win non-title first. Randy Savage getting a little bit sick of dealing with Guerreros. He just dealt with Chavo, and he had some run-ins with Eddie too in both the Royal Rumble and the YouTube title match. So he's seen a lot of Randy Savage and various permutations of Guerrero. He's getting a little bit tired of it. He wants to wrap that up tonight. He sure looks like it in the ring. They get right back into it. Savage is nice and fired up, takes some early advantage. Really just having his way with Eddie Guerrero. Takes him down. Eddie pulls something out of his tights. Turned out later it was a roll of nickels. Couldn't really see that at the time, but gets him with the old loaded punch. Cuts that momentum right off. Eddie Guerrero in control. We had a minor incident at ringside. One of the fans trying to get a little fresh, a little assertive, a little flirty with Miss Elizabeth. It was kind of uncomfortable. She got away. Security came to her aid. Fan got kicked out. No real harm done, but please do not do that. Please respect the wrestlers and their valets. Kind of resets the momentum of the match a little bit, and Guerrero had the upper hand, but sometimes wrestlers have to bury the hatchet for a moment to deal with some fans. Match resumes without major incident, only minor incident. Eddie Guerrero continues his momentum, gets the lasso in El Paso, gets a handful of hair. Miss Elizabeth at ringside trying to encourage Savage, trying to get under Eddie's skin a little bit. And I believe what the exact words were, just because your hair is better, doesn't mean you have to treat his like that. A little rude. It came from a place of support, but I think it backfired a little bit. Eddie Guerrero has a good little chuckle at the expense of the YouTube champion. Said YouTube champion is a little bit upset. They just start brawling back and forth. Ref loses control. They brawl all around the ring, all around ringside. That's going to be a double disqualification. Ref cannot reestablish control of the match. They brawl. They keep brawling actually for a while. We had to get some officials out there to help out. They get them separated. Eddie Guerrero feeling pretty good about himself. He might not have gotten a win, but he did embarrass the champ. He makes an argument that he should get that title shot. I am inclined to agree, but that is all that we have for you tonight. So, where does that leave us for next week? We are going to give Eddie Guerrero his request. We will have another main event, Randy Savage, Eddie Guerrero, this time for the YouTube Championship, in hopes that they can settle the score going into the pay-per-view. In our sub-main event, we're going to get more hype for Super Survivor Series. William Regal is going to be leading a team against the New Day. We don't know the rest of those teams yet, but the captains are going to be Kofi Kingston and William Regal in some one-on-one preview action. William Regal trying to get the entertainers kicked out of ASW and remake it in his image. New Day aren't interested in that. They're here to have a good time, maybe win some matches. Becky Lynch will face Trish Stratus once more. The rivalry continues. Trish had some words for Becky, so now it's getting a little bit personal. That feud will continue. One particularly interesting match we have for next week, Chavo Guerrero has decided that he wants to get rid of some of the indie talent in ASW. To that end, he has challenged Slash Gallagher to a cage match. Kinda out of the blue, but should be a pretty hot match between two of our rising stars. We'll see what comes of that. Mean Gene will be catching up with Scott Steiner. And as our opener, we will have Willow Nightingale against Asuka. Asuka trying really hard to get her first win in ASW, but Willow almost the champion here, looking to rebuild some momentum, get back in the title hunt. As for the pay-per-view itself, had a little bit of a shake-up. We know we're going to have Shawn Michaels captaining an all-star team, Booker T, Scott Steiner, and The Rock. It was going to be against the Outsiders and the Lucha Bros, but with the imminent breakup of the Outsiders, it looks like Scott Hall's off the team. They are going to call themselves the Nash World Order now. I don't know who they're going to take for a fourth member, but applications appear to be open. We also have an issue between New Day and William Regal. Not sure who either side is going to bring in. We need one more for New Day's side, and 3 more in fact for Team Regal. More on that as it develops. We know that Los Guerreros are teaming up with Asuka. I can't picture them teaming up with Regal, so I imagine they'll be in their own match. Seems rather antithetical to what Regal is trying to do. Can't really see him vibing with New Day. They don't have room on that team anyway. Could have something to do with the challenge to Slash Gallagher and the harsh words for indie wrestling issued by Chavo. Have to assume that's where that's going, but we'll see how it shakes out. What is clear is that it is shaping up to be a heck of a card, and we hope you'll join us. But join us next week as well. That's all we got. Thank you for watching. Take it, Adagio.